Hi, thank you for joining me. Today we will be continuing our part 2 of the mixed media block print. You'll need your working surface, some random paint brushes. I'm going to also use a gel ink pen, some type of paper towels. You'll need the printed surface that you started yesterday. It's fully dry. You need the block print, masking tape, some paint, the surface to roll out your ink on, and a brayer. We will not be using the slow dry medium today because we'll only be making one print. So what I want to do is mark the surface. I've already pulled off a few pieces of tape and labeled them, but I'm going to mark my surface for my artwork. And this is done so that you can make multiple prints. Mark that top surface, the top edge, and I'm going to mark this side edge. That's for the paper. So every time I lay paper down, I'll just lay it here. Take the block print that I'm going to be making and I place it within this surface area. I'm going to have a little extra. It's going to have a little extra over here on this side, but I think maybe I will not do that. I will have the extra space here on the bottom. So I want to have these three edges almost the same. I'm just eyeballing it. I want to have more space down here for two reasons. I want it to make it look like this is high up on the picture plane. So what I'm going, once I place this where I want it, I'm now going to place this up here, because this is the corner where the paper will be placed here every time. I'm going to mark the edge for the block print here in this corner using these two pieces of tape. I'm going to take and butt this edge up to this right, the left edge of the tape up against the right edge of the block. I'm only going to press it down here, not on the paper. So I want this to happen. Fold it back slightly. It's not going to be permanent, so I just fold it back slightly. I take the other piece of tape and I line the top edge of this tape along the bottom edge of the block. Have some of the tape hanging over here on the far right, and I'm going to press it down, press the tape down on the right hand side. I then remove this entire work area and lay this down. Let the tape fall. Believe it or not, every time I do some type of recording, I have a craft fly over. So please accept my apologies for the loudness of the, sounds like an airplane this time. I mean, a helicopter this time. So every time I get ready to make a print on a block for this setup, I can use this tape. If something happens and I need to leave for whatever reason, I can move all of this and come back to it, printing it later. So if I make this print and I decide, I'm only making one print because I'm experimenting. But if I decide, because this is my work surface, I'm using this desk as a work surface. If I decide I need to do something else, I just remove this entire setup and set it to the side, do whatever I'm going to do. And when I come back to it, I want to do more prints. Making this specific setup, I will already have the tape here. All I have to do then is remove this tape and make another setup. So that is going to be for that. Again, I'm not going to use any of the slow dry medium. Sorry. What I'm doing in my head, I'm deciding not to use. I have red, yellow, and orange, but I'm deciding not to use this orange. And these are just some cheap paints. I do that when I'm experimenting, because I don't want to use my really good paints on that. So now I'll draw down. The one thing about this is the two paints will mix in this area, and if I don't feel they're mixing enough, I'll come back and add a little of the orange. And I don't feel that they're mixing enough. But that may be okay. I'll put a little of the orange right in the middle. And the reason why I'm putting a little of that in the middle, see, I may need a little bit more of the yellow now. I have an area that is not giving me much coverage. Red tends to dominate. There, I have just enough in the middle. The reason why I'm doing that is because this is the flame. I'm going to place the red on the bottom, and I want that orange to kind of be right here in the center. So before I lay this ink on there, I'm just kind of sizing where I want this to be at, and that will work about right. I could actually leave this whole bottom piece undone. I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to roll it in a way that not much ink is going to appear on that very bottom. And I have just a tip up here that's not. Only on a block print you can do that. I'm going to show it to you. I have ink in here, barely any ink up there, and barely any ink down there. So I'm really going to roll it again. And that's because because I don't have any slow dry medium on there. If I would have placed some slow dry medium on there, I would not have had that drying problem. So I'll do it again. Perfect. What I need to do now is get my block on there before that dries. So, even though I'm making one print, I just found out that I still need to use slow dry medium because the acrylic paint dries anyway. And so, as you see, you can see the image is really, it's a three-tone image, but that's really what I want. I'm going to hand draw the bottom of the torch, well, the handle of the torch. So I'm going to move this out of the way. Normally I would let this completely dry. I'm placing this here so I could, if I wanted to, roll this, but we don't want to chance it. Beforehand, the same way you saw me put extra paint up here, I could have put some paint